News Talk 1330 FM 106.3.
And good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I am your host, Josh Engel, and today I am joined by, let's be honest, a living legend, man that wears many hats, Randall Redding. So some of those hats: CEO of R.K. Redding Construction, the CEO of Milltown Music Hall, which our listeners are very familiar with. He also is the, I guess I could say, CEO of Liberty Legends USA Clothing, which I believe he's wearing one of those snazzy jackets right now.
I am. I actually am.
Randall, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic.
Thanks for inviting me in today.
Well, we thank you for joining us. Why don't we just jump right into it? I know we have plenty to talk about. So I was told that you just recently were awarded, I think it was Wednesday, you were awarded the 2019 Bremen Junior Women's Club Citizen of the Year Award. How did that come about?
Well, I don't know how it came about, but I was awarded that, and I appreciate that. They were very kind to recognize me, and it it recognizes our family and our businesses and everything, because we're all kind of work together. It all works together, whatever we do. So whenever they honored me, they honored everybody. So I appreciate that. Whatever we can do in the community to try to help the community, that's our focus, and I'm sure there's many other people that deserved it more than I did, but anyway, I really appreciate that.
Well, to be honest, amongst your family and friends here at Graddick Communications, I can't think of anyone more deserving.
Well, thank you.
So Robin Worley told us a story recently, and I think this is a great way to set the show up. Apparently, you had a pretty funny run-in with ironic, honestly, given what you've achieved over the years, a pretty funny run-in with a former college professor of yours at Auburn, correct?
I did. I sure did.
Please, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, to give you a little backstory on that, I've always thought of myself as a builder because my grandmother instilled that dream in me when I was just a very small kid, talking about my great-grandfather, who was an excellent builder in the area. He built homes, and he actually built the hotel in Carrollton that United Community Bank is in now. The story was he rode the train down from Bremen every day and was superintendent on that and built that building. He'd ride back in the afternoon, and we actually R.K. Redding had an opportunity to renovate that building when United Community Bank moved in. So that was thrilling to go inside the walls of a building that my great-grandfather built. But so anyway, I saw myself as a builder, even though I worked in my mom and dad's restaurant there in town. They had the M&W Cafe, and everybody came in there, all the industrial workers. We had like 3,000 people that worked there in Bremen every day, when it was the clothing center of the South. And we had people like Bear Bryant and Shug Jordan and all these governors, and everybody would come in there to buy clothes in Bremen. So I grew up there, and I got to know all the industrial giants that were in town at that time. But when I got old enough to leave the family business, so to speak, and actually get a job out in the community, I always worked construction. So I would work those jobs, and I always thought I would be a builder, even though no one in my family had gone to college. My sister didn't go to college, and it wasn't that it's not important. It just never was talked about in our home. So I didn't think about First, I didn't think about going, but then I didn't prepare taking the right courses in high school and that kind of thing. But my friend, as you mentioned, Robin Worley, who's my lifelong friend, we've known each other since the 7th grade. He was a big Auburn guy and wanted me to go to Auburn with him. And so I tried to do that. I sent my application there, and since I had not taken any of those prerequisite courses to get into school, when I was going down the list to see which curriculum I would qualify for, I started looking for something that was associated with building, and I found the School of Architecture, and I said, well, that's kind of like building. So I tried to get in architecture, which is very difficult to get in, and so I applied that way, and I got a nice letter from Auburn a week or two later saying, thank you, but we don't need people like you, or whatever it said, it didn't admit me. So I was upset. I went to see one of those industrial leaders who was also a big contributor at Auburn. He actually built the athletic dorm there. It's named after him. And he made a phone call. I told him the story. I wanted to go to Auburn. And he had his secretary say, get Harry on the phone. So they called Harry, who happened to be Harry Philpott, the president of Auburn University. And he said, I've got a kid that I've watched grow up in his parents' restaurant. He works hard. He's going to be successful. He didn't take the right courses in college, in high school, to get into architecture, but we need to take a chance on him. And he hung up the phone. He said, now listen, you're going to get admitted in something called building technology, which I didn't even know existed down there. But it was exactly what I needed to be in. He said, now, you don't get that many chances, breaks in life, make the most of this. And I said, I'll do my best to make you proud. So the successful thing, the one thing is I got in, but I was not qualified. I quickly figured that out. I was so far behind, I had not taken the math courses, and frankly, it was an engineering degree, is what it was. So,
what do they say? Fake it till you make it,
Yeah, I tried my best. Got through, and I actually walked on in the wrestling program down there too. Back then, the SEC had college wrestling, and I was a high school wrestler, and so I walked on and actually made the team. And the coach there was a perennial. He'd won the SEC 25 times. He was a legend, and so it was a real honor to make that team. I worked hard to get on the team, but I was stretched between that and going to college and trying to catch up. But anyway, in about the middle of my sophomore year, my professor tapped me on the shoulder one day in a lab and said, "Come in my office." So I went in there. He said, "Close the door." I closed the door, and he said, "Sit down right there." So I sat down. He pushed a piece of paper across the table to me, and I said, "What is that?" And he said, "That's a transfer out of building technology into something else." And I said, "No, what is that for? What is this about?" And he said, "You got to sign that because you got to leave building technology and get into another degree." And I said, "No, I'm a builder." He said, No, you're not a builder." He said, "I've never seen anybody less qualified to be a builder than you." He said, "Sign that." And I wouldn't sign it. And he was screaming at me, and I got up and walked out and closed the door and went back and sat in his class and made a C in the course, and that was my last C I ever made. He built a fire under me, and I was determined. I started working about 8 hours a day studying, and I had a great friend of mine that was in building construction. He was brilliant, and he went on to be one of the pilots for George Herbert Walker Bush when he was president, flying him around. And he took me under his wing and tutored me in math and science and physics and that kind of thing. And I worked hard, and from that point on, I made the dean's list every quarter. And at the end of the 4 years, you have a thesis. You have to write a thesis. And I wrote the thesis. It involves everything you've learned in building construction your whole 4 years. And we have a jury, and that professor was sitting on that jury along with the head of the department and 2 others. And so when I sat down for my jury, the head of the department said, "We don't have any questions about your thesis. It was outstanding, and you obviously have learned what you need to learn in this curriculum. And we don't give A+, but you got an A+, because it's outstanding." And so we were just sitting around chit-chatting. He was asking me if I had a job offer, and I did. But Professor Timberlake had his head down over in the corner and didn't want to say much. And it got kind of quiet. And I asked him, I said, "Professor Timberlake, do you remember that meeting we had in your office?" And he said, yeah, I'm sorry, I was wrong about that. And the head of the department said, what are you talking about? He said, well, I tried to get him to transfer out when he was a sophomore, and he wouldn't do it. And boy, he got all over him. He was chewing him out. He said, you had no authority to do that without running it by me. And he was in hot water. And I said, let me say something. I said, look, I was highly unqualified. I would not have even gotten into Auburn University if a friend of mine had not made the phone call. And I was determined to try to make the most of it. And I said, but one thing you did do was build a fire under me, and I was going to prove you wrong. And he said, well, you certainly did. So he actually inspired me. The good Lord wanted me to have an education. And frankly, getting in there was a miracle. And getting through 4 years of college and an engineering type degree without the math background and physics and calculus and everything. Having to learn the high school version of that and the college version, and getting through that and finishing with high marks is another miracle. But it was just God's way, God's plan for my life, and He saw me through it, and He helped me get the training and education I need to do what I'm doing now. So if you don't believe in miracles, just listen to that story, and it is a miracle that I am doing what I'm doing now.
Sometimes it just takes a little faith and someone to prove wrong to make wonders happen.
Well, that's true, and I'm glad. I appreciate Professor Timberlake, and I needed that wake up call and that extra incentive. And frankly, I fell in love with learning and studying, and it was no stretch for me to study till 3 or 4 in the morning. I mean, it was just nothing. I loved it. And once that world opened up for me, then I got all over it and did well there.
Well, that hard work's definitely paid off, and we're actually going to be talking about some of the new projects that RK Redding has been working on right after a word from our sponsors.
Okay.
At Oak Mountain Academy, our daily schedule includes convocation, prayer, and the Pledge of Allegiance. By doing so, we build a family-like community where all students grow and flourish and personal faith is encouraged. Through community service and a historical approach to biblical study, our students are taught the value of the warrior way, honesty, respect, and responsibility. Oak Mountain Academy, we are a family creating legacies. To learn more, visit oakmountain.us.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama, because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
And we're back to Community Voice. If you're just tuning in, we are joined by the legendary Randall Redding. We've been talking some college stories, chatting about his Citizen of the Year Award. That was the 2019 Bremen Junior Women's Club Citizen of the Year Award that he very gratefully received on Wednesday, November 7th. Randall, the work that you put in school, it led to the creation of RK Redding Construction, and I know that you guys have been very busy since you were formed. What year did you form here?
In 1991.
All right, since 1991, you've overseen a plethora of construction projects. Why don't we talk a little bit about some of the projects that you have coming up? I know that you are finishing Playcore, the Steve Adams project that you're working on. Tell us a little bit about these.
Yeah. First of all, Playcore what an outstanding company that is to have in our area. It was Superior Products, and now, Playcore is the parent company out of Chattanooga. And they had that fire, about a year and a half ago or something like that. And we were fortunate enough to be invited to be a part of that team to demo that building and get the site ready and then put that building back in place and with the upgrades they need to be successful moving forward. But we've gotten to know Jonathan and the whole team here in Carrollton, and then all the Jim and everyone Underwood out of Chattanooga. That's just such an outstanding company. And they were able to hold things together and keep everyone working in different locations around town while we got the building built. And they're moving in now. I mean, it's about to go live now, so that's outstanding. And then we are going to be building the new headquarters for Southeast Trans in Villa Rica with Steve Adams, and that's an exciting new business coming into the region because they're bringing somewhere around 400 jobs, to this area, which is incredible. We've been meeting with them over in Atlanta. They have their business is there now in a Class A office building that's just full of people. And they're bringing all those folks to Carroll County, and that's very, very exciting.
And I was told before the show that the groundbreaking for the Southeast Trans project is going to be next Tuesday at 2 p.m., and everyone's invited.
That's right. And the site is right next to the Villa Rica Hospital, Tanner Hospital. So, come on out and see the rendering of the new building, but it's going to be a great addition for the entire region.
Now, I also read that you were putting together an urgent care for Tanner, the Tanner Hospital, but it's going to be in Buchanan.
That's right. It's Buchanan, by the way.
Buchanan. I've been corrected a lot on that. So.
Yeah, don't say Buchanan. People will look at you weird. We're building that now. We're setting the steel on that, and we built the urgent care for Tanner south of Carrollton too. That one down by Walmart. That it's going to be a little bit smaller than that one, and we finished with a new surgery suite building for Tanner at Higgins General Hospital in Bremen about a year ago, I guess it was. So Tanner's doing an outstanding job, of course, in our region, and I have the opportunity to serve on that foundation board, have for a number of years, and it's just incredible to see what Tanner is doing for the quality of life for the citizens of this region, and just getting the okay to be open heart. That's coming online too in the next year or so, 2 years. But Buchanan's needing that medical office, and they're getting that, so that should be up and going in probably 3 to 4 months, something like that.
Excellent. And what about this, the Honda Precision Parts?
Yeah, over in Tallapoosa, they support the plant over in Lincoln, Alabama, the assembly plant. And the Honda Precision Parts in Tallapoosa is the transmission manufacturer for the Honda car. And we're in we've been working there for a number of years. This is our second major expansion. Last expansion put in a brand new transmission line for a 10-speed Honda transmission, and that's being manufactured now. But what we're doing at this time is another major expansion for them because Honda in Lincoln just continues to expand, and Tallapoosa has to do that, expand as well to keep up with the production because my understanding, Honda in Lincoln runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and so they can't make the cars fast enough that they're selling there. So those are great people in Tallapoosa, and it's the largest employer in Haralson County and one of the largest in the region. But it's good, clean jobs, they take good care of their people. Just an honor to be a part of their team.
And we're very glad to have them here in the area. Mm-hmm. Randall, you're no stranger to philanthropy in the area. I was told that you were very involved with the West Georgia Pregnancy Resource Center, mm-hmm. Young Life, Habitat for Humanity. What drew you to these groups?
Well, first of all, the Pregnancy Resource Center used to be called Save a Life. We've been involved there for ever since we've been in business, and that, to me, there's no better ministry to be a part of than that really produces the fruit. And kids are walking around now. I had an opportunity to speak at their banquet recently, and most of the time I have a chance to say a few words there, but there are kids now that are married with their own kids that were saved by that ministry from the funds, some of the funds we donated when we first started. They're 20-some-odd years ago. So that's incredible if you think about it, to save a life and to give a lady an option. And so I think God really honors that. Children are very near and dear to his heart, and so he honors that commitment that we have, and we support them on a monthly basis and have for over 20 years. Habitat, our company likes to take on a community service project each year, just as another way to give back to this community and try to help. And our folks just jump in there and do an outstanding job, and it helps family get started. And so that's a great ministry as well.
And what about Young Life?
Yeah, Young Life. I didn't know about Young Life. We didn't have that in our high school. My wife is associated with it in college, but our daughter Ivy, who's now at Belmont University in Nashville, she was very active in Young Life, and I saw the change in her life through going to the summer camps and different things and being involved. It's just an outstanding ministry for children kids to be a part of. They have great fun, but boy, they learn about the gospel too. And now our daughter is actually a volunteer at a high school in Nashville while she's a student at Belmont, and she just took a group of girls over to Sharp Top this past weekend for a retreat, so she's on fire about that. And I'm excited that Carrollton High School has that now. It just started in Bremen High School as well, and boy, the kids are going to really benefit from being a part of that.
And what a blessing to leave that legacy for the youth in our community. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk to you a bit about your keys to success,
okay,
as well as your faith and what that means to you. Right after a word from our sponsors.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama, because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
Oak Mountain Academy has offered a challenging college preparatory education for over 50 years. With over 500 graduates, we have maintained a 100% college acceptance rate. Over 90% of our students earn acceptance to their first choice of college or university, and over the past 5 years, our students have earned over $10 million in scholarship offers. Our students are creating a legacy. Come, be a part of our family and create your own legacy today. To learn more, visit us at oakmountain.us.
And welcome back to Community Voice. I am your host, Josh Engel. I'm joined today with Randall Redding, the CEO of RK Redding Construction, Milltown Music Hall here in Bremen, as well as Liberty Legends USA Clothing, and probably several other things, because Lord knows we don't have enough time to go through it all. I thought I would come back and talk about some of the comments that we have on our Facebook live feed. My pal Shane Tarpley, such an inspiring story. Definitely something I needed to hear this morning. Our friend Rhonda McCoy here, awesome testimony, awesome man. Jackie Boatwright wrote, and I love this is my personal favorite. Way to go, Randall Buchanan.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Everyone loves it when I make that mistake. So now that we're back here, I'd like to talk a second about your keys to success. What do you feel is so important in terms of being successful?
Well, I think there are several things, and I think you mature into your career the further you get into it. Obviously, when you first come out of the chute, you're just trying to work and keep your head above the water and balance new family and activities you have there with your children and so forth and with your job. But I tell you, I think the most fundamental part of it, from my perspective, is that first of all, I see it as my calling in life. I think you have to be, in order to be successful, you have to be doing what you're called to do and not try to put a round peg in a square hole. You're never going to be happy doing that. So find your calling, and I'm a Christian, and I don't have any qualms letting people know that, and I know I'm doing what God called me to do and what He equipped me to do. But the thing is that our clients who trust us with multi-million-dollar projects, we understand that our responsibility is to our client, and we want to make sure that we not only deliver a quality product on time and in budget, but we understand that is a top priority to them. It becomes our top priority too. So I make myself available for an owner to call me anytime, night or day. My cell phone is on my business card, and I'll take their call anytime. If they're anxious about anything, I want to hear from them. And we want to make sure, I tell our folks, it's not good enough to build a good product with excellent quality, in budget, and on time if that owner won't rehire us. We didn't win. We didn't do our job. So we intend on, and our hope is that we will be a better friend with our owners at the end of the project than we were going in. So we work very diligently on customer satisfaction, and it's not just some slogan in some slick brochure you have. I mean, it's a heart thing with us. That's our number one calling, is to make sure that they're satisfied and that we stand behind our product, and we do that. And we have a lot to deal with. We deal with environmental issues, weather, and so forth, delays. We had a lot of that this year ago, with all the rains and so forth. We had to deal with that, but these owners need their job anyway, so we just have to work hard to try to overcome those things that we have that come up that are out of our control. And then people, dealing with subcontractors and suppliers and all. You just have to build a team, and I never have gone after a superintendent that uses foul language as a habit, and I don't want one that my slogan is cusses a job out of the ground. I don't want that guy. He can go work somewhere else. I don't want that guy. I want a team builder, because we're all in it together. Let's pull together here. We all need to be successful. I want everyone on our project to make money, all of our subcontractors and suppliers. So let's work together and build a great product, and that's what we try to do as a building contractor.
Excellent. Well, Randall, I just want to say that it was an honor to get have the chance to interview today and talk about the new projects you have coming up and your work here in the community.
Thank you.
On behalf of West Georgia, thank you for all that you've done and all that you do.
Thank you for what you do.
And thank you so much for joining us here today.
Yes, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
All right.